What is going on, guys? My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today bringing you guys a brand new episode of my Let's Play Clash of Clans series. So today I'm going to go ahead and finish that final cannon upgrade to level 9, and then with my gold after that I'll probably upgrade something like my mortar or maybe an archer tower if I can't get enough gold. As far as my laboratory goes, I have a couple of other upgrades I can do now. It's either between maybe the Barbarian or the Wall Breaker, but let's just go ahead and do some attacks, get some resources, and see what we can spend towards the end of the video. Alright, so first of all, I am going to be using a different army composition today. I'm actually just going to be using tier 1 troops like the Barbarians, like the Archers, and the Goblins. And let's go ahead and attack this guy's base right here who has over 600,000 resources, almost 700,000 available. So looking at where I want to attack from, I'm just going to spam some of my archers outside of the base. Looks like he has a pretty good amount inside of his mines and pumps, as well as his 2 elixir storages on the outside are exposed as well. So I shouldn't have a hard time taking those guys out. So I'm just using a mix of my goblins, barbarians, and archers. Again, you can use pretty much any army composition in the world and destroy a base like this, but since they are all tier 1 troops, these troops are super easy to train, they're super quick and inexpensive. So overall, this one is going to be a cakewalk. So slowly dropping my troops all around the base. Going to go ahead and finish off that town hall as well, and just making sure I don't drop too many in the same spot so I don't run out of troops towards the end. But overall, this one was about as free as it gets. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to drop a couple more troops on these elixir pumps and we should be good to go for the rest of this raid. So 44% coming up on 50%, and I can sort of decide whether or not I want to go for the 50% to make sure I keep or I get a little bit more trophies. And seeing as there are 2 barracks right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop those archers, and that should be enough to get 50% on this base. So looks like they're going to shoot it down in just a second. Again, in the most recent update, they did make buildings like these have more hit points, so they're harder to destroy. But anyways, still got pretty much all of the resources, 400,000 elixir, 273,000 gold. Definitely not a bad start to the raiding today. So this guy has almost 1 million resources available, which is pretty insane. So I think he's at like 950,000. And what's really bad is that my normal army composition actually would have worked way better against this guy's base, because I could have used my giants to distract and I could have used my wall breakers to break in. But since I don't have too many wall breakers, this one is going to be a lot more difficult, and I'm probably not going to be able to get everything I wanted from this base. So I did use the wall breakers pretty well there, and I only have 5, so I have to make sure I use them decently well. Don't have any giants to distract. I only have these barbarians and the archers, which are going to slowly make their way through. And after I destroy these last 2 collectors, I can move on to the next portion. But again, I am already running low on goblins. All right, looking at where I want to attack from next. This guy has 2 gold mines and a dark elixir pump inside of there, or dark elixir drill. So because of that, I want to attack from right here. Unfortunately, this guy is a scumbag with his Teslas on the outside. I wasn't even interested in the town hall, but it still ended up taking out a bunch of my archers. And then slowly but surely, I'm just going to go ahead and drop a couple more of my troops, drop my archers and my goblins, and then hopefully they can make their way to these collectors right here. All right, so looks like my goblins are making their way in, doing a pretty decent job taking care of that dark elixir drill. I have 13 barbarians left and 46 archers. So looking at where I can attack from, the prospects are looking pretty weak right now. All right, so archers are going down. Going to go ahead and drop a couple of barbarians up front to tank, as well as I'm going to just use a bunch of my archers to shoot over the top to get to this gold mine and elixir pump. And let's see how it turns out towards the end, because we're only sitting on 10 archers left. So archers going in, barbarian king's finally going down. I am going to steal all the dark elixir, which is pretty good, but still so many resources left in this base, and it's sort of depressing that I'm not going to be able to get all of them. So 155,000 gold, 296,000 elixir, and I do have a single wall breaker left in my barbarian king, so I'm going to use these archers right here a little bit to try to take care of that army camp. But unfortunately, they look like they're going to be just strong enough, and that's actually really good for me, because now I can drop this wall breaker and barbarian king, and my barbarian king won't be distracted by that army camp anymore. And seeing as it's only a mortar and a wizard tower shooting at my king, he should have a pretty easy time to get to this gold mine right here, and he's going to salvage as much as he can. But after this gold mine goes down, there's probably nothing left in the elixir storage, so I'm going to have to go ahead and end the battle right here because the storage isn't giving me any resources whatsoever. So although I got 600,000 resources, I'm really depressed I didn't get all of them from that base. I feel like if I did bring my normal army composition of 6 giants and 8 wall breakers, I would have been able to tank a lot more damage from the buildings on the outside. So I was pretty unhappy about that one, but still let's go and attack another base and see if we can do a little bit better against this one. All right, so it looks like this guy's a Town Hall 7, so his defenses can't be that bad. So I'm going to start off by dropping a bunch of my archers on the bottom to take care of the mines and pumps down here, as well as a few of my goblins, and I'm just going to slowly work my way around the base, and I definitely need to focus on getting those 2 gold mines that are on the left-hand side. All right, so a couple of wall breakers have gone down. Looks like they weren't enough to get into that first compartment. And then now that they've broken through, I can go ahead and start spamming some of the rest of my goblins. And those guys should be able to take care of the gold mines right there. All right, so I'm not worrying about that too much anymore. I'm going to keep spamming my goblins slowly but surely, and they will get there eventually. There are a couple of mines and pumps up here, and I definitely made sure I saved enough troops to take those guys out. And as I drop the rest of them, they're going to go ahead and spam their way in, take care of the mines and pumps. Look like the Tesla is going to be a little bit annoying, but it won't stand a chance for all of my troops. And I'm just going to drop a couple of my barbarians on the builders' huts to make sure I get 50% against this base. All right, so the final 2 things that I'm looking at, there's an elixir collector right here, as well as one more gold mine on the center. So I'm just going to drop my barbarians and archers, going to go ahead and use my wall breakers to break in because I use my barbarians as a distraction. And then now the rest of my troops are going to slowly make their way around. I have 9 goblins left, so I'm praying that they're strong enough to take care of that gold mine. And as they make their way through, it looks like this raid went absolutely perfectly towards the end, and I managed to steal all the resources from the base. So I was trying to be a little bit cheeky to see if I can take care of that town hall, but unfortunately the archer tower is rangy enough to where it's going to be able to take them out. So rest in peace, archers, and that is going to wrap it up for this raid. All right, so it was about a minute and a half for that raid. I got 540,000 about 540,000 resources with the bonus, 9 trophies, and that one actually worked out pretty well. All right, next base here, another base with a crazy amount of resources, and again, this would have been a much better base to attack with my other army composition because it's going to be really hard for me to break through this top part as well as break through the bottom part because I only brought 2 wall breakers when I should have brought much more. I think I'm learning throughout this episode that if I'm going to be using this army composition, I do need to bring a ton of wall breakers with me if I'm not going to bring any giants because it's been a real struggle to get into some parts of this base, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of troops to be able to tank for my goblins while they take the resources. All right, so goblins are going in. Looks like they're getting hit pretty hard, but they still are making a dent in a couple of these things. Just going to go ahead and start spamming a bunch of my troops. I really don't feel like I have a chance to go through the bottom and the top, so I'm just going to use all my troops on the top instead. And as more of my troops go down, slowly I'm going to be able to whittle my way through the base, and I am pretty focused on those gold mines over there, so I'm going to keep spamming my goblins, make sure they go to the right-hand side, and they should make their way to those gold mines in just a second. All right, so things are looking okay. My archers are going to shoot a couple of these buildings on the outside, get some free dark elixir from that dark elixir collector. And as my goblins run in one more time, they're going to go ahead and run to their death and try to take care of those final gold mines. So they're making their way there. That looks like that gold mine's going to go down. There's one more gold mine right here, which I'll drop a couple of other troops to help out with. But seeing as I only have 4 barbarians left, that is going to be it for this raid. And I think I did pretty decently with what I had. So unfortunately, all of this beautiful resources on the bottom left, but I just didn't have the army composition I needed to get to those. So I'm going to end up with 317,000 gold, 222,000 elixir. Again, over 500,000 resources, but some were definitely left on the table, and that one didn't go perfectly. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and attack this next base and see if it works out a little bit better. So I'd been training spells since the beginning of this episode, so I finally finished up one of my poison spells as well as my lightning spells. So let's just go ahead and attack through the bottom, and hopefully I think my goblins are going to be able to make their way around the base because this guy doesn't have that many compartments. And if you notice right now, all of these gold mines and elixir pumps are sort of just lined up in a row, and as soon as I break through, because I didn't bring any wall breakers, I'm going to go ahead and let my troops run crazy in the base. So my goblins are doing a really good job running left and running right, because if you guys watched how I drop my goblins, I drop some of them on the left and some of them on the right, and even though they're entering through that same hole in the wall, they're actually going to be programmed to go farther to the left and the right depending on where you drop them. So that's why my goblins sort of spread out 50-50, and it worked pretty well for this raid. Unfortunately, tier 1 troops biggest nightmare is a giant bomb, and that giant bomb's going to do work against me, so I'm going to have to drop a couple more troops up there. And looking at what else I can do right now, I'm just going to sort of let my archer shoot over the top, and they are actually going to be smart enough to shoot for that gold mine. So that's one of the things that they changed in this most recent update with the AI. Normally my archers just would have shot the wall, but they actually hugged as close as they could to the wall, and then they went ahead and shot over it and took care of that gold mine. So it looks like the only things I'm going to be missing out on are the 2 elixir collectors right there, as well as the 1 gold mine. I'm going to go ahead and drop a lightning spell on those 2 right there because it will give me a positive profit on those. And it looks like we're going to end the battle at 71% and a pretty good amount of resources. So 450,000 resources, not too bad at all. And it looks like we can go ahead and head back to base and finish out our upgrades for the day. So we're at 1,137 trophies, and I did actually manage to save up enough Dark Elixir that put me at 15,003, which is just enough to upgrade my Barbarian King to level 3, so let's go ahead and do that. And again, once he hits level 5, we are going to unlock the Iron Fist ability. Alright, inside the laboratory, again, I had a couple of different choices on what I wanted to upgrade. A little bit tempted to do the wall breaker, but I decided to upgrade the Barbarians instead. And then looking at what else I can do around my base, I definitely want to get that cannon to level 9, and let's go ahead and upgrade that now. All right, for the final upgrade I can do with gold, I was looking at something that would work out for me. I couldn't do the hidden Tesla really, didn't want to do an air defense, couldn't do a wizard tower, so I decided instead of doing anything like an archer tower, I finally realized mortars only cost 1.6 million gold instead. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this archer tower. I do not want to upgrade that just yet, and let me go ahead and upgrade that mortar to level 6, and that should do it for the big upgrades today. I do have 2 builder's huts left, so I can go ahead and upgrade 2 of my gold mines, and that's going to do it for the upgrades inside of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play episode. This one was like 11 and a half minutes long. I'm going to try to do some longer ones. I know you guys tend to like those a bit more. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.